Hello, and welcome to the Bear Me Alive podcast.
I'm your host, Technicality.
And I'm your host, Ghostly. I don't know what we're doing today. Both Cal and I logged on, and immediate chaos began, so this is going to be a really fun episode. What are we covering today, Cal?
Today we're covering the Dover Demon. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes!
Let's begin. Okay, this guy first appeared on April 21st and 22nd of 1977, with 3 different encounters over those days. The first sighting was at 10:32 p.m. by a group of 3 17-year-old boys, Andy Brody, Mike Mazowska, I cannot pronounce that.
Mazowska?
Yeah, I think. Hopefully.
Hang on. Mazowska.
Okay, Mazowska. Andy Brody, Mike Mazowska, and William Bill Bartlett. Bill was driving the others when he saw a strange creature crawling on a low wall on Farm Street. The creature's hands molded around the stone. He thought that it was a cat or a dog initially, but when it came into the view of his headlights, he realized it was very much not. He described it as a hairless creature standing 3.5 to 4 feet tall with thin, long arms and slim fingers. It had a watermelon-shaped head, disproportionately big to the rest of its body, glowing, lidless orange eyes, and tan sandpaper-like skin. No mouth, ears, or nose. In the sketch he made of the creature, it is assumed to be highly accurate, as Bill was reported to have both good artistic skills and a photographic memory. The head is ovular, with it coming in slightly at the eyes and continuing to get minorly more narrow, rounded at the bottom. It walks on all fours, but is also seen standing at points. Its main body is an oval, and its limb and neck are very thin compared to the rest of it. The hands, being attached to said limbs, have 4 fingers on each of them. I can speak. That is something I can do.
This is weird, dude. Alright. I got questions.
Shoot.
Question number 1. Why is it so short? Typically when we do these episodes on cryptids, go listen to our other episodes on cryptids, they're like tall. This guy, for size reference, is the size of a northern sea otter.
It's just a little guy.
Which, not that short, but like, that, like, just think about that size-wise. That guy's so tiny. I want to be his friend. Also, how is its head staying on its body? Okay, because you said it had a very thin neck compared to the rest of its body, and a head that was bigger, like a big head. So how is the head staying on? Is it, like, one gust of wind and its head just snaps off?
Yeah.
Does it have, like, a titanium neck?
I mean, maybe. It'd be interesting if it did.
Titanium neck demon, anyone?
But
Ooh, I get pictures.
yeah, that the picture I just sent will be up on our community page. It is the original sketch of the Dover Demon, by the man who first encountered it.
It looks stupid. It looks silly. Yeah, that's silly. They're a silly little guy. I want to be their friend. It looks like, you know, when a little kid tries to draw, like, a random, like, imaginary friend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. Except it was supposed to... yeah.
Words.
Woo! We're so good at this.
We are excellent at this. This is definitely not our job.
Our job is words.
Yeah. The next sighting is around midnight, the same night, and it's interesting because the reports I found mildly contradict each other. The first one I found says that about an hour later, like an hour to 2 hours after the first sighting, 15-year-old John Baxter and 13-year-old Pete Mitchell saw the creature on their walk home, claiming it was bipedal, and it ran into a gully standing next to a tree. All other reports I have found on this are pretty much the same, except John walks home alone and actually follows the creature due to thinking it was one of his friends who lived nearby. He called out to ask who it was when it didn't respond to his friend's name, and the creature ran off into a gully and back up the opposite slope until it was leaning against a tree. John walked quickly away, terrified. He reported the creature had a, quote, figure 8-shaped head, unquote, a body like a monkey and glowing eyes but with no color, as opposed to the orange color reported when Bill saw the creature. This report is very interesting because it also happened near Farm Street, which is where the first sighting was. And
I'm so sorry. I heard... when you said Bill, I just imagined Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm so sorry.
that would be amazing, though.
Bill Nye the Science Guy, please come on one of our episodes to talk about cryptids. I just got myself a good laugh.
Bill Nye, if you're listening to this, come on our podcast.
Because he totally listens to us.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So, again, this makes it a lot more credible because it was in the same area and it was like an hour to 2 hours later, which would make sense with it. Also, fun little thing.
I have two things really quick before you give us the fun thing. One, do we know Bill and John?
John, yes.
Gosh dang it, another John we hate. Keep it together, Ghostly. Did Bill and John have any connection to each other? Because sometimes, if there's like a connection between the two people, rather than just living in the same town, but like they're friends or something, it can be an influence. Did they have any connections with each other or know each other?
That was actually what I was just about to go into.
Oh, okay, wait. I'll let you go into that in a second. Second question, well, not really a question, more of a comment. In the good old-fashioned of our show, when there's two slightly different descriptions about the same cryptid, do you think that there's a chance that there's a cryptid family of these demons?
It might make sense because though it's less, like it's a little scattered, there has been several different reports of sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a third eye color that's reported in the last sighting. So maybe. Or the guy just likes changing their eye color.
Ooh.
Magic eyes.
Magic eyes. We like magic eyes. Alright, what was the connection between frickin' John and Bill?
So, John's sketch of the creature, despite him not being known as a very good artist, lined up with Bill's. Even though they weren't good friends, they knew each other, but they weren't, like, good friends. And hadn't spoken to each other about their respective encounters. Keep in mind, this was 2 hours later.
Wasn't there also, like, an age difference? You said John was 13, and you said that Bill was driving when he saw the creature, so...
Bill's 17, John is 15.
15?
Yeah.
I thought you said 13.
The 13-year-old I mentioned was in one report, but didn't really go into any details and wasn't in any of the other reports.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
I thought I'd make note of it, but it didn't really have a huge connection.
I was confused. I was like, why would they be hanging out if there's a 5-year age, like 4-year age difference? That kind of feels a bit sketchy. But yeah, that makes more sense. All right.
Yeah. Next day, at around midnight, again, around midnight, so very consistent with this timing, there was another sighting. A similar creature to what Bill described was seen by 15-year-old Abby Barham and her boyfriend, 18-year-old Will Traintor? Yes. Will was driving Abby home when Abby saw the creature on the side of the road. She screamed, causing Will to brake as he passed by our little cryptid, where he saw its figure in the headlights before it disappeared into the underbrush. The description Abby gave was the same as the two previous sightings, with a few key differences. She said it looked sort of like a monkey, which actually does line up with what John said, was the size of a goat.
What kind of goat?
And, doesn't say.
We need more details here. Come on, man, get details.
Abby does not know how to properly size her cryptids.
Abby.
She needs to take a class.
Abby needs to listen to our show and know that you should always carry a tape measure so that way if you see a cryptid, you can get its height. Like,
obviously.
Come on, Abby. It's basic protocol.
And, Abby's version of the cryptid had glowing green eyes.
I like green eye. I'm kind
of course you do.
My whole thing is being green. My whole personality on this show is being a murder-related ghost who likes the color green and silly little animals. That's all I have, Cal.
We'll see. Now, something further interesting about this is a cryptozoologist named Lauren Coleman was actually the one to name said Dover demon, and interviewed all witnesses within a week, deeming them credible because they didn't talk to each other about their respective encounters. There wasn't any communication between them as far as anyone's aware, which makes it a lot more interesting.
Okay. You know, I have to ask. They were teenagers. What year was this again?
1977.
Yeah, teenagers in the 70s. Were any of them known for doing drugs?
Nope. All of them were known as, just people.
All of them were clean?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Good job. Woo. Okay, but yeah, I like to check on that stuff because obviously sometimes that alters the perceptions, as we talked about with Mothman when the group of people saw Mothman, but they were tipsy. Gotta be careful. But yeah, that's interesting that there was no chatter about it between them. This feels like a really good horror movie. This feels like a good horror movie, so I'm liking it.
Yeah, so, further proving this a bit more is the fact that, when Bill made the drawing of the Dover demon, he wrote on it, quote, "I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature," unquote.
A stack of... Not on a Bible. A stack of Bibles.
Very serious.
A full stack. Wait, saying this as someone who is not Christian, does it multiple Bibles make it more of a sincere pledge?
I have no idea.
Neither of us are Christians, so I don't know. But, I just imagine Bill going around getting every single Bible he can, like going through a church, and you know how like they have Bibles in front of the seats at a church?
I haven't been in a church ever.
Okay, at a Christian church, most churches keep a Bible in the seat in front of them, so if someone forgets their Bible, they have one during the service. I just imagine Bill going to a church, gathering every single Bible, and putting it in a giant stack and putting his hand on it, just going, I saw the Dover demon.
That would be amazing. That would be so wonderful.
You would get kicked out of church, though, probably.
Though there are some also interesting things about this, such as the fact that even though Bill was in the car with 2 other people, the other 2 did not see the Dover demon, which I couldn't find if any of them were in the front seat or not, so they could have both been in the back seat, which would probably block their view, but not sure. So that might explain it.
Who were the friends? Like, did they get any accounts of the night from the friends and the things that happened before the sighting, or are they just along for the ride? They're just there.
They're just vibing.
Like any good side character.
Mm-hmm.
However, that means they're going to end up dead, so...
Now.
Please tell me they don't actually end up dead. Wait.
Nope.
I don't like the way you said now after that. I was just...
We go into some of that really fun stuff. All sightings were at night within a 1.5 mile radius of each other.
Oh.
So, very much same area.
Mm-hmm.
And, if drawn out with a ruler on a map, all sightings are almost directly lined up.
In like a triangle? Is it Illuminati, or is it just...
No, just the
lines?
It might be because of the road, but I just found that interesting.
It would have been funnier if they made a triangle. I just imagine the family of demons like, okay, we each have to take 1 point, so that way when people are trying to figure out where we live, they just think it's the Illuminati.
Wait, but what if they go to the center of the triangle?
Oh. Well, then they're idiots.
Furthermore, there has been other paranormal activity reported in the area, but that was in the 1600s when there was legends of the devil on horseback being seen in the area, which...
It was the 1600s. It was the 1600s, dude. Things got wild.
And then there's just minor things that didn't really link into how the stories happened, but I found on several of the articles, such as the possibility that the Dover demon can turn invisible during the night. So
that's why they disappeared after touching the car headlight. I'm gonna be honest, I just imagined the demon as E.T. It's just E.T. Like, I just want to check out the headlight. Because you said they, like, poked it, right?
They didn't poke it, but they got near it. Also, one seen running away and then just touching the tree. It was interesting. You also have a fun little thing that I don't know where this is connected to, but it was in one of the articles I found, so we're going to put it in here. It was described as making a blood-curdling noise, like a combination of a snake hiss and a hawk screech, which is interesting given the report of it having no mouth.
Where is it coming from? It had no mouth or ears. What hole? Okay. Nope. I was going to ask what holes it had, and then I realized that that's a really weird thing to say.
Maybe it's coming out of its eyes?
Or it could be like...
But I can just imagine its eyes vibrating when the sound comes out.
Oh my god, that's amazing. No, but it could be like coming from its stomach. You know how like human stomachs growl when they're hungry? That's just the equivalent of that, but for the Dover demon?
Maybe. Very loud, but cool.
I am hungry. Give me food.
Something more is there's also reports in one of the articles that says all people said that it stalks in the tray line and waits to scare people.
So it's just me.
It's just a silly little guy.
I'm not that short. And I have a mouth.
You sure about that?
I'm sure I'm not 3 feet tall.
I could beg to differ.
Says the one who's like 7 feet tall.
Thank you.
That's not a compliment. I'm calling you frickin'... Who's the guy from Jack and the Beanstalk?
The giant?
Yes! Calling you that. I could only think of the word in Japanese, and I was in it... And my brain just got fried. I was just like... What?
And one of the other articles say that it's claimed to have smooth gray skin, green eyes, and is 3 feet tall, but that does not line up with any of the 3 reports that happened over those 2 days, so I'm going to discredit that. Also, fun little thing, this is another cryptid that was never seen again after those days.
How many cryptids have we had like that? 2?
I think 2. Yeah, because the Flatwoods monster was never seen again as far as I'm aware.
She got too famous. It was too overwhelming. And... Was it... This one? Lakeworth? No. Poplick. No.
Yeah.
Poplick?
Wait, no, Poplick didn't have any actual sightings at all. It was an urban legend. And then...
This is how you know we've been doing this for too long, is when we can't even remember what episode we're referring to.
I think it might have been the Lakeworth monster.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it was the Lakeworth.
Yeah.
So, there's several theories on what could be, like, the mundane explanation for this.
I like theories.
There's theories of it being a young moose, deer, or calf.
No.
But these don't quite make sense with it being bipedal and the reports of its hand and feet, which do not line up with that at all.
I got things to say. Alright. I don't know what kind of young deers and stuff you see, but that thing is not a frickin' deer. Deers have mouths and ears. They don't have humanoid hands or twig arms. They don't climb trees. They don't randomly disappear after standing in front of cars.
Well, all the reports have it scurrying back away, but like...
That still doesn't mean it's a deer. It's not a deer. Like, what animal could that be? Nothing. 'Cause it's a frickin' demon for a reason.
There are some theories of it possibly being a primate escaped from a zoo or a lab.
BS.
With its hairlessness being explained by malnutrition or cosmetic testing. The second one
Say this. I'm gonna say this really slowly. B. S. That's all.
Care to elaborate?
Nope. Nope. I elaborated plenty.
I feel like the primate one is the most likely mundane explanation.
We don't do mundane. That's not our job. We don't talk about mundane things.
Our job is to go into history and all the different parts of it.
Our job is to go into demons. That's all I care about. Our job is not to go into the mundane. Our job is spooks and geeks. That is why we call our audience that.
Okay. I'm just going over the entire thing. Now.
It's still making me
What's your
mad.
theories? What's your theories on the non-mundane? Go.
Alright, get ready. Alright. Here's what happened. It was a demon. It decided to hang out. Decided humans are disgusting. Fair enough. And then they went back into wherever they came from and were never seen again. In the wise words of Sidney O. Sargent from Camp Here and There, you could go in the woods and meet a demon, or worse, a human. It was this day that the demons found out that the humans are worse. They took one look at our ugly cars and were like, nah, dude, I don't mess with that. And they left. That's it.
That's amazing.
That's my theory. I like to think maybe use triplets, like a family of triplets who were like, let's go cause mischief. And then they met humans and they're like, they can damn themselves on their own. They don't need help from us. Isn't that just the plot of Good Omens with Crowley? Like, isn't that all Crowley does in Good Omens?
No, he writes memos on all the things that he pretends that he did when it was actually just the humans the entire time.
Exactly, because they just did it themselves. Like, in season 2 of Good Omens, Shax even says something about that. She's just like, has it always been this easy? Because I planned this whole thing, and then the humans just did something worse themselves without any intervention from me.
It's fun.
Yeah. Watch Good Omens on Prime Video.
We're not sponsored unless...
We're not sponsored, but willing to be. Weren't we talking about demons?
Yeah, your theories on the demon.
Yeah. So that's my what's yours? I want to hear your theory. And I bet it's not better than mine. We'll make this competitive.
Wow. I find it interesting that it was only, the only people who actually got the full view of the cryptid were kids. Two 15-year-olds and a 17-year-old.
Have you seen the film Monsters, Inc.?
Yes, I have.
I'm changing my theory. It is still triplets, but Monsters, Inc.
I like the Monster Inc.'s theory. That's great. Just there to scare.
I love that movie. I love that movie, dude. I feel like that movie is really underrated. More people need to be talking about Monster Inc. It's such a clever concept and idea. Also, it made animation history because of Sully's fur.
Okay, I think that about wraps up the episode.
Really?
Yep.
This guy's funky.
He's a funny little guy. He's a little dude.
Like, I'd hang out with them. You know? I would not trust them with, like, a drink or anything, but I would still go out with them, you know?
Delver Demon, you're hereby invited to the cryptid therapy session as a therapist.
As a therapist?
I mean,
I know it's hard being a cryptid sometimes, but we persevere.
Though I'm not sure it can talk. So they might just make blood-curdling screams. I think that's an accurate form of therapy. It's to get your anger out, to express yourself. If you see a little cryptid, well, this applies to any cryptid, but especially a little cryptid, You walk up to it, and you get a photo, and you make friends with it. I don't care if it looks poisonous. I don't care if it looks like it might murder you. I care if you go up there, get a photo, and talk to it, interview it. Don't run away. Now,
as a quick reminder, Bury Me Alive is not responsible for any lawsuits revolved around cryptids. If you have anything you want to send us relating to cryptids you have found yourself, contact us at burymealivepod@gmail.com. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Bury Me Alive podcast. As a reminder, I'm your host, Ghostly.
And I'm your host, Technicality.
Thank you so much for just listening. Listening is great support to us. But we love your engagement as well. So if you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe to us so that way you can find more of our episodes. We upload weekly. And press the like button because it makes us happy. And leave a comment. What did you think about this episode? We love hearing your thoughts. If you're listening on Spotify, please rate this podcast with the little star button because it helps us out. And interact with us through our polls and Q&A feature because, again, we like hearing your thoughts. We hope to hear and see you again sometime soon. And always make sure you hug your local cryptids. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.